Hello and welcome back everybody once again to the Mineski Pro Gaming League season number 6. These are the LAN finals for it. Group stages at the moment. This is Group A, Execration versus Insidious in this best of 1 series. We'll see who's gonna come out ahead. Definitely both teams, they kind of have to start racking up the victories if they want to finish at the top part of the group stage. We are of course HeflaTV. I am Culture.
Hold that thought. We need to get into the new lobby. They're remaking now. Hurry up.
Oh goddamn! Goddamn!
Like they all disconnected. Hurry up.
Why are they
Okay.
doing this to us? Why are they
I
doing
don't know.
this?
Like that made no sense. We're good now.
Oh, it was in all pick mode, I guess. Or it's still in all pick? God damn, what's happening, guys? Please, get admins. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Shagasaurus. He's on that. Please. Change it to captain's mode. So we don't have to remake again. It was on captain's mode the first time. Like, there was actually nothing wrong with that lobby setup unless they picked a bad server.
Server location might have been it. I don't know. Thank God you even noticed that, so...
Yeah, well, I just saw everybody disconnect. I'm like, oh, I should probably check if there's another lobby, because then Coucher will be all alone. Yeah. And then server location, yeah, hopefully admin gets his stuff together.
Oh God, this... oh, it happens. It happens. The
Yeah.
craziest thing is, though, that I have no idea how freaking long we're gonna be casting, just because we just finished a round 3 game, yet this is also a round 3 game, and
Yeah,
join a new lobby. A new lobby, we have more lobbies.
Just to put this into perspective, we're supposed to be starting the last series of the day in about
2 hours.
2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours?
And we
This
have,
is-
like, this game plus, I guess, 4 games after this, plus there should be an extended
No!
break after the 4th game.
What's going on?
Oh, there's a new lobby with Jan
There's
Fox.
a okay. New lobby.
New lobby.
Oh.
This is too good, guys. This is too freaking good. Well, I just have to thank baby Jesus that, like, my time zone is relatively okay for this tournament, whereas you Americans, you are royally screwed.
Yeah, speak for yourself. It's 5 a.m. I've been up for like, oh, a
At
long
least you
time.
have stuffing and turkey and whatnot.
Yeah, I have stuffing and turkey. And then I can, like, I don't know, eat and then crash for like 2 days. I'm gonna be in a turkey coma.
Well, you can eat and crash for like probably maximum 8 hours, because tomorrow we're gonna be doing the same thing.
Hooray! We're finding a server.
At least, I mean, tomorrow it's gonna be playoffs, so it's gonna be like, I think it's best of 3. I'm not even too sure, in all fairness, but if it's best of 3, at least teams like won't have to set up PCs between and stuff. So it's maybe gonna be a little bit faster. And best of 3, since they're allocating 3 hours of time for each one, it might just get ahead of schedule if it's like a 2-0. So in theory, there's a potential for less delays, but then again, there's potential for more as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can't actually tell. Like, production value is out the window. We just want to cast Dota. Like, this is supposed to be, like, running on a schedule that resembles something structured where we have a game, and then an hour and 15 minutes later we have another game. Not 2-hour pause delays, not lobbies not getting passwords with no casters. Yeah. Hopefully this goes smoothly tomorrow.
It's just a bitch keeping the tickers updated. I just changed like 20 something games, the times for it. Now I probably have to change them again because just more delays keep on coming. It's horrible. It really is. But now we're in the draft. We don't care. At least this game has started. Hopefully gonna go without any major just disturbances. But Execration panning out a Meepo. Insidious don't think they're a team that just is extremely prone to playing that hero, but I don't know, man. Their Prophet definitely feels like it could have been a better ban.
Probably a better ban. I don't think you pick up Meepo first. He's definitely a scary hero, but I think you ban him out in the second stage if you are afraid of the enemy team picking him up.
It's definitely so. What Execration now? They can go for like Skyref Tide. Brewmaster is still in the pool, so They can even go Brewmaster Tide if they really want to. But it's going to be the Skyref Brew instead. I guess they really didn't want to give away the Skyref to Insidious Idol having the Brewmaster themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be Jakiro next for Insidious Idol. Both teams getting a decent combination as far as their heroes are concerned. Brewmaster Scarlet Mage, a very common opener that we've been seeing a lot of recently, and Death Prophet Jakiro, a nice pushing combination or pushing core for Insidious Idol as well. Both teams get a decent amount out of this early picking stage, and I don't think there's really a clear victor in the draft so far.
It's definitely true. I mean, 2 picks after all, but Insidious Idol, it is extremely scary what they do have. I mean, Jakiro and Death Prophet together, it just makes for great pushing. I do believe Aces had the same combination, but of course they also had a Meepo on top of that. So, Execration, had they not banned out the Meepo, it would have been fun to see that potentially it could have been just the same lineup that Aces ran. But not to be, unfortunately. Of course they would have been on the other side as well, the Dire rather than the Radiant, but I mean, Jakiro and Death Prophet by themselves, plenty of pushing already and plenty of just teamfight power as well.
Definitely. Right now we're going to see Faceless Void banned out by Insidious Idol. No big surprises there, although they would have a Brewmaster and Faceless Void on the same side, which does make the initiation kind of... I don't know, they don't mesh very well together. Brewmaster wants to blink in and then make everybody split, and then just divert the attention towards other portions of the team fight. And Faceless Void's the exact opposite. He wants everybody to stay in place and get stuck, and you can't really go in both of them at the same time. Usually it's Faceless Void to open up and then Brewmaster to follow. It just doesn't flow as fluidly. Insidious Idol probably would have worked better with the Faceless Void themselves, but since they don't have first pick in the second picking stage, you can't fault them for banning it either.
You really can't, but we'll see. The second ban phase definitely has slowed down the draft, considerably so. Insidious Idol, though, finally banning out the Centaur. Centaur Skyref Mage, definitely a combination that can kind of blow up really anybody in the on the map. Execration now, though, what do they even ban out? Are they afraid of maybe something like a Lycan, Nature's Prophet, offlane for Insidious Idol? Who knows how just push heavy they want to go? Maybe it's just a Jakiro offlane even for them, who knows? But Slark will be the ban. As Tidehunter, almost an immediate pickup for Execration.
Execration pretty much have ensured themselves teamfight dominance through the most of this game until BKB start coming out for Insidious Idol. And although that's a logical choice for Death Prophet to pick up later on, as a first item, it's pretty unlikely she's going to go for it. So for a lot of this game, Execration, when they have those cooldowns online, are going to be looking to take teamfights.
So, teamfights will be hard, but Insidious Idol can they just go for heroes that maybe are excellent at split pushing, for example? Nature's Prophet could be one, of course. Just strengthen up their overall push and just try to rat things out, maybe avoid teamfights. Is that the way to go, or do you kind of want to pick something that could counter teamfight with the Exorcism and just something else?
I hate to recommend it. Never mind, it's banned out. I was going to say Naga Siren, but that was taken out in the first stage, surprisingly enough. As far as big teamfight ultimates that are still left in the pool, there's not really anything that can combat up against a Tidehunter Ravage and a Brewmaster Split, although if they are that way inclined and want to at least try, Chronosphere as well as Reverse Polarity are there. I don't think either of those are really great picks so far. Picking up the Enigma later on might be a decent option, but for now I think Insidious Idol should just stick with one of their supports, and that support, I think, going for like an Earthshaker would be the safest choice.
Yeah, even a Witch Doctor won't be too bad. Paralyzing Cask is pretty nice against the Brewlings, for example. But oh, Spirit Breaker! I guess that might be one of the options there as well. What's the plan with the Spirit Breaker for them?
Run at them like a madman and get kills. I absolutely love watching me some Spirit Breaker. I don't think it's a logical choice here, but Spirit Breaker's not a very logical hero at all. So hopefully for them, the bash luck is in their favor. The global ganking potential is pretty immense as well. But Execration, their heroes just look a lot more stable in the second picking stage. I'm crossing my fingers for a troll pick for Insidious Idol. More pushing power definitely doesn't go amiss, as well as just having the perma bash from Spirit Breaker whenever you have that troll ulti. And also can lane decently well up against Templar Assassin. It wouldn't be an awful pick, although I think it's unlikely.
It definitely wouldn't be awful, that's for sure, but... Now, we'll see what Insidious Idol have just in store for us with the Spirit Breaker pick, man, I don't know. I've seen Spirit Breakers actually be rather successful in the majority of the games it's been picked up. It is a pretty tanky hero, you can definitely dive with him. Just almost as tanky as the Ogre Magi even. Starts with slightly less base armor, but I think starts with slightly higher base strength, so kind of makes up for it. It's always kind of a fun hero to see, but
Oh yeah, one of my favorite heroes to play. Just heroes that get up in your face, like Ogre, Meepo, Huskar, Spirit Breaker. This is my jam. Insidious Idol. They're eating through quite a lot of their reserve time for this next pickup for themselves, and it's gonna be an Ember Spirit. Huh. Not exactly a direction that I was anticipating they'd go in. Ember Spirit's a nice carry to have for sure. But up against Execration's team fight and the laning stage that they're going to be up against, is it really worthwhile? Ember Spirit can do decently up against Templar Assassin by taking away the defensive refraction charges, but the physical damage coming up from TA is usually too much for Ember Spirit to trade hits, even when he doesn't have to deal up against the defensive refraction.
the refraction, more or less, in Insidious Idol, I think they have that on lockdown. Liquid Fire, Dual Breath, Ember Spirit, Flame Guard. They just have so much to deal with that. So that's something they don't have to worry about at all, most likely. And if you have just so much refraction removal, the Emperor Assassin's life actually becomes a lot harder all of a sudden. There's still a chance you might be able to meld away just everything, or that's still also not reliable, just because most likely suicidal, knowing that they're going to be carrying detection, whether it be sentries or dusts. So this TA, his effectiveness will just be heavily reduced in this game, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, but I still think it's going to be a really useful tool for Execration. I don't think this is a Templar Assassin that's going to be initiating with anything like a Blink Dagger. I think it's more or less just going to be like a Race Car TA or a BKB first TA that follows up after a Blink Ravage and a Brewmaster split. I think that distraction is going to be enough to where Templar Assassin is going to be able to keep herself alive and get her damage out onto these fairly squishy targets, like the Ember Spirit, or at least once their armor is taken away, they're very squishy.
Yeah, that's really the biggest weakness of an Ember Spirit as well, and if it should be a Templar Assassin Ember Spirit mid lane matchup, I've seen so often that where Templar Assassins just go for max out meld, for example, and kind of crush the Ember Spirit thanks to that minus armor coming out. So we'll see if we're gonna see something of the same.
Definitely. Okay, so in chat, there's some people asking for some games, especially like Arcanus is one that I'm seeing. Most often, that is actually in the group that we're not covering, in the group B, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to have a chance of catching one of those games, it will be on twitch.tv/HeflaTV1, and I think we'll be covering the Malaysia versus Arcanus game. It's going to be a Sand King for Execration, and right now their teamfight potential and initiation just seems to be on a whole nother level from Insidious Idol. And honestly, I think their team is just all around better. It seems more well-rounded and meshes a lot better together, but Insidious Idol have a team that, if they get ahead, can be completely scary.
It definitely can. I mean, Execration, they just have so many Blink Dagger potentials. They can really go like 4 Blink Daggers. Templar Assassin might not even have to get one just because so many other heroes for them will be able to initiate themselves. So Templar Assassin can just run in, use the Psionic Traps to slow everybody down after the lockdown of the Ravage, of the Burrow Strike. So Execration, not too bad. Not too sure how much the Sand King will be able to accomplish early on, but then again, in Insidious Idol, how much will the Spirit Breaker do? And the last one, a Brood Mother. It is the first time I've casted a Brood Mother. Hell yeah.
I don't think this is a good pick at all for Insidious Idol. I'm gonna be frank. Up against a Tidehunter, Broodmother's effectiveness is very limited. They'll just get all of those little broodlings completely dominated, especially if Sand King puts a point into Caustic Finale, they're gone. You just right-click one of them, and then they just all go... Broodmother's not going to be able to do much. Hopefully that wasn't too loud on stream. In hindsight, that was probably a poor move to go for. But either way, yeah, Insidious Idol's lineup, it feels like a pub. I really don't know what to make of it.
I don't know any, but in Insidious Idol, they have almost always been such a team that just goes for those quirky picks. You think like, God, I don't see the synergy. I have no idea how it's going to work out, but somehow they make it work. Not too sure if that's going to be the case with this lineup, but Insidious Idol, they are a team that also, kind of like Screen Squad, who like playing Tusk, support, Juggernauts were really common from them as well. Just going for something out of the ordinary and just making it work. We'll see if this one, I don't know. But I'm just pumped to see a Brood Mother because I haven't seen one in action, at least haven't been able to cast one, so that's a new for me. And I have to say, oh god, freaking no, this Brood Mother looks so nasty.
It's just one cosmetic too, either way. Broodmother's going to be played by Alice on Insidious Idol. Yuma Kanpaku going to be playing on the Spirit Breaker. I have no idea what that's a reference to, but I assume it's to something. Z going to be playing on the Death Prophet. Shagasaurus on the Jakiro. Thanks for using your official name, Nisera, on the Ember Spirit.
And for Execration, Heya, Haya on the Tidehunter. Leaving Dot Dot on the Temper Assassin. Yui should be the Tidehunter. That's what I know. I guess Primo is playing the Temper Assassin in the mid lane then. Leaving Fox on the Skyriff Mage. StockX on the Brewmaster. And the last one will be... Oh, Chemo on the Sand King. Yes, I remember their names, man. I've casted enough of Execration to know the names at least.
Yeah, for the love of all that's holy, use your official names. Either way, Insidious Idol going to invade the enemy woods. Place down a ward. I believe that does block the pole camp. The spawn box on this thing is atrocious. But either way, if Insidious Idol, even though their picks don't have great synergy together, if they all play individually very well, it could work out. It is going to put a lot of pressure on every single player to pull their own weight, because they don't have spells that are going to help them do that. Whereas Execration, excuse me, my goodness, I keep calling him Extinction. But either way, they can just put together a huge team fight, and now we might see an engagement over in the dire jungle. Burrow Strike onto Z with the Thunderclap to follow it up. She can't get anything off but the Crypt Swarm, and will fall down to the right click of Fox. It's going to be very clean for a split. It's very rare that you see people grouped up on this ramp, and Death Prophet was none the wiser. Yeah,
now Shagasaurus taking quite a lot of damage as well, but since Brewmaster isn't close enough with the Thunderclap, they have to escape. Zero comes in with the Flame Guard. Fox is on the run, but 325 base movement speed should be good enough, especially since Yomo on the Spirit Breaker went for Greater Bash rather than the charge. So they make it out safely. And I actually had no idea that Yomo will be standing in for Insidious Idol. Usually he's the player for Kingdom, kind of the captain for them at this point even. And he also played the Spirit Breaker in the last game I casted of them for the Joint Dota League, I believe, so maybe it's just purely his influence.
Maybe. I mean, it is a hero that is pretty...
Oh, Shagasaurus might be in trouble. Chemo gonna come in, another Burrow Strike will land. They need a few more Arcane Bolts, a few more right clicks, and they get the kill 2-0 early on.
This is not a start that Insidious Idol can really be comfortable with at all. Spirit Breaker goes for Bash first, and really you need a little bit more than just level 1 to start ganking as a Spirit Breaker, but without charge, there's not really a chance he's able to get anything accomplished until he does tick level 2. But Insidious Idol, they kind of need to start this game off on a good note. They're going to leave the Tidehunter 1v1 versus the Broodmother, which is a matchup that Tidehunter can handle very capably on his own. We're already seeing that 7-1 compared to 5-0 on the Broodmother. He's not shutting down Brood's farm, but he's able to farm up those Spiderlings whenever they do come out. TA is doing fine up against the Ember Spirit, and up in top lane, Insidious Idol are losing, so there's just not really anything to talk about other than that. They're going to a nice double Burrow Strike, double clap, and now the right clicks to fall onto Z, and Arcane Bolt gets the kill. And now, well, they are looking for a little bit of bashes on this Sand King, but can't find a nice Ice Path onto Fox, but no follow-up for that. Insidious Idol are forced to back up and salve after losing another hero, 3-0 the start for Execration.
Yeah, and at the moment, these are only level 1 spells. Thunderclap, only level 1. It did connect even onto 3 heroes there as well, so perfect positioning coming out from DocX. But they need some mana back. They need the early Arcane Boots. Fox, of course, with the 2 kills that he's got and plus the 1 assist, he already has Boots plus another 400 gold. So if they get like 1-2 more kills and get the Arcane Boots on Fox, that's just gonna give them so much extra ability to just keep on going for kills. I mean, maybe they should even have Fox just get a few last hits, get those Arcane Boots fast.
Yeah, maybe. Even though Sand King isn't in his own jungle, it doesn't matter because Insidious Idol have committed all three of their starting wards to block up Sand King's jungle, but that actually doesn't matter, and they're going to get lots of kills on top. Tidehunter CS is a little bit misleading at 16 in force, and several of those do come from Spiderlings. But either way, he's going to be on his way towards a very fast Blink Dagger. Looks like he's going to pick up Arcanes for the sustain it in lane to start things off. But this aggressive playstyle coming out from the Sand King is really working wonders for Execration, and they might be able to find a little bit more. Those Sand Kings going to decide to back out there, only level 2.
What's the bounty on the spiders of the Broodmother anyway, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's pretty darn high.
It kind of always is. Probably something like 15, 18, something like that maybe. We'll see, I'll try to keep an eye on it, but he really should be just trying to web up maybe the jungle, just send the Spiderlings only there, because against the Tides, they are completely useless.
Yeah, the bounty is 11 to 13 in the gold, 31 in experience, and then for the main ones, it's 16 to 21 and 20 in the experience. Those little spiderlings just give so many levels up in top. They'll be able to chase down Spirit Breaker. One more Arcane Bolt can do nothing but watch himself fall. It's a killing spree already for Fox. A Crypt Storm almost dropping the Sand King. Ice Path, he was salving up. He survives with 3 HP. He's gonna make his way back to base and survives just by the skin of his teeth. I suppose if you're not dropped down below 1, you're still living. Broodmother down in bottom. Aggressive on a little bit, but he'll be able to salve up just fine.
Once Tidehunter gets a Ravage, actually, Alice has to be a little bit careful on the Broodmother there. Might even get picked off. But the Spin Web, just giving so much health regeneration, especially together with the Soul Ring. Has himself a Ring of Protection as well. Most likely, I think, Ring of Basi coming out. And thank God that this boss seems to be a really short one, since they are ready already.
They're just trying to give us heart attacks, I think. Like, just give us flashbacks to the, like, 2-hour pause we had earlier.
That was just horrible. At least now, we have 2 games in a row. Of course, they are for the same round, so I guess it's still pretty bad that they're in a row, not at the same time as Spirit Breaker. Well, they get the kill onto the TA, so that's a positive point for them. But still 4 for 1 for Execration, farming up better on almost every single lane as well.
Yeah, that's much needed for Insidious L, but even after that kill, Templar Assassin's at about the same net worth as the Ember Spirit, and that's not going to be enough to shut her down in a vacuum. The Spirit Breaker just isn't working out for Insidious Idol as well as it needs to. Like, right now, it needs to be 4-1 in the favor of Insidious Idol.
By the way, look at the Templar Assassin, not a single point into Meld. He has gone for 2 into Psyblades though.
I can't agree with this, especially up against an Ember Spirit. Like, I'd consider maxing Meld, to be honest. Just whenever you get into a fist fight, drop that huge nuke and minus armor into him. It's up to personal preference, but I think this is a mistake. Jumped on in mid. Defensive refraction charges are already down. 3 remnants, excuse me, have been dropped, and they should be able to burn him down, although he is bottling up. Templar Assassin juking through the woods. He is going to drop a trap. It is going to slow down the Ember Spirit. The burn damage from the shields enough to kill off the TA. Ysera is going to survive and bottle up on the sidelines. Another kill on a Templar Assassin, just finding a really easy gank, but now the Sand King and the Skywrath Mage are going to try to put an end to that. Yuma going to bump into the Sand King, doesn't get a bash immediately, but then turns. He is going to activate his charge, but now a double Burrow Strike. They're focusing on the Spirit Breaker. They do get the chains onto both the Sand King and the Skywrath Mage, burning down the Sand King inside his own Sandstorm. Can't do anything but watch himself burn. Doesn't have enough mana immediately for that Burrow Strike, but does have 3 stick charges and could look for a turn. Broodmother comes in and finishes off the Skywrath Mage. Ravage committed, instantly killing the Spirit Breaker off. There's a remnant up, but he doesn't have the mana to activate it, and he's going to end up falling. The little spider's doing a lot of damage to this little Sand King. Sand King trying to run away from the other bugs, but he does pop the stick charges, has a Burrow Strike. He should be able to get away to safety, bottled up by the TA, but the spider is going to be able to kill off the Scorpion with one of the spawn spiderlings.
That was a huge range spawn spiderlings, way bigger than the just range indicator shows you. So they get some nice kills for themselves. Of course, I think Templar Assassin kind of stutter step there as well. And there's the charge coming into Fox. They're timing the tower. He almost should have it quite nicely. Ice Path will miss though. So Fox is alive for the timing. They're gonna get the counter kill onto the Death Prophet as well. Fox still alive. There's the Burrow Strike. He might even survive this. Oh my god. Ancient Seal onto Yomo. He cannot get the last strike clicks off. That dive was just absolutely horrendous for them. Just, oh my god.
It really was. Like, they were trading evenly, at least in the last couple of trades, but that one, it's 8-4 now in the favor of Execration. And although the Broodmother is getting a decent amount out of bottom lane, it's a Broodmother. Like, her immediate impact in this game is incredibly limited. And she's just going to be chilling and pushing lane, and for now, she hasn't even put a single point of damage in that tier 1, since the lane equilibrium has been kept pretty much at about this point by the Tidehunter.
So what do you think the item build should even go for Broodmother? Just previously in the past when it used to be popular, it was like Orchid almost every single time. But I do believe like Balkan Bears, for example, run like a Necrobook Broodmother, just really force down buildings. What would you like to see from him?
I'm on the fence about Broodmother's build. It depends on how he wants to play. I like the Orchid build personally, but Necrobook might be the better choice. I just haven't seen enough Broodmother as of late in my pubs or in professional games. In mid, going to be a double Burrow Strike. Ysera is able to jump away, and a bash onto Sand King is going to slow down the jump onto the Spirit Breaker, but Remnant's forward, he's going to reinitiate. The Spirit Breaker is going to drop, but now in return, the Sand King burning down to that Ember Spirit, but the guard's already gone. Sarah dropping low. Refraction Charge is going to be eaten away by Luke and Fire. Now chained under tower. He's going to live and ends up turning. He does have bottle charges. He's going to be slowed by the TA, saving the Sky's Mage's life for now. There are a handful of Spiderlings, but they won't be able to do enough in the end. It's Doc to kill off the Ember Spirit. He claps him down, but buyback into the Remnant. He's going to have a split, however. He's charged by the Spirit Breaker. He does get the stun off, but it doesn't really do much of anything as Alice cleans up the Tidehunter in bottom. Brewmaster's split is going to be used purely defensively, and Alice finds even more gold.
The Broodmother, I have to say, is playing it pretty damn well. I mean, 3 kills already for usually a hero that kind of stays on the lane and does nothing. He's been fairly active. Of course, the movement speed in those waves, he's hasted with just having power trades. That's pretty sick, I have to say. But just Emperor Assassin not having meld, man. If he had meld, they would have blown up the Ember Spirit so damn fast. It's not like the refraction did much for him just because, well, you're up against a Flame Guard. I don't know just what the hell is up with the build.
I don't like it either. Like, even just 1 point, like that extra 50 damage, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it could have made the difference there. I don't know. I think it's questionable at best. Brewmaster does have a decent amount of farm, going to be getting towards that Blink Dagger quickly on Doc, but that first use of the split was also pretty lackluster.
Oh, Chemo gonna die on the bottom lane. Yeah, he's screwed.
Yeah, that happened. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, it's just... He was in the Sandstorm, but even the Sandstorm wouldn't have just made him safe just because the Ice Wave would have kind of landed on him anyway. And this Broodmother, I'm really surprised how well they're kind of playing it. He does get the stun through, but so many Spiderlings, this tower is gonna go down. And he can just keep on applying pressure on the same lane. You usually do not want to switch up lanes just because you have the spin webs all set, just ready to go. But another charge coming in onto the Temper Assassin this time around. Ysera has the Flame Guard ready, just waiting to be activated. Now Temper Assassin does have the meld though, so might be able to just meld his way to safety anyway. But even the meld just for safety purposes would have been nice earlier on. She has 3 deaths on her already after all.
Yeah, I think we're kind of beating a dead horse here. The Templar Assassin build, it's not ideal, but I think it's kind of moot now. Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster, he's going to have a jump up in top potentially. Blink Clap, he is silenced up, amplifying that clap damage. Now with an Arcane Bolt and a couple more auto attacks, it's going to be the death of the enemy DP. And in the meantime, Broodmother is just pushing down the bottom lane. Another one of those recent changes for Broodmother that's pretty cool is the fact that the Spiderlings can stack on top of each other, which is pretty ridiculous.
Oh god. Goddamn Spiderlings. Of course, Sand King, in theory, he's one of the better heroes as well to deal with those.
Ravage on 2, ultimate from the Spirit Breaker, immediately purging off the stun. Might be enough to save the Tidehunter, and they're not going to dive tower for that. Ember Spirit forced back, bottling up, has a Remnant to John 2, but is going to decide against it for now. The damage has been done. Templar Assassin's the only one to fall.
Just Kraken Shell level 3, so damn strong, and that's almost a bottle, not a bottle, a Blink Dagger finished on the Tidehunter. Bottom lane Sand King takes some harassment from one spawn Spiderlings. But that's about it for now. Alice has another 2.3k gold. Sand King just keeps on sandstorming up. It's only level 2, but it's enough to make sure that just the Spiderlings won't also come in. And Sand King definitely a good hero to just deal with just unit-based pushing.
For sure. I'd love to see Sand King get a point to Caustic Finale pretty soon. Usually it's not the ideal choice, but up against these Spiderlings, it's just such a powerful tool.
It certainly is. Just right-click one, burrow strike through, and the entire creep wave more or less dead all of a sudden. But top lane, we do have the pause once again. Ember Spirit disconnects, but Dokix has the blink, has the Primal Split ready as well. But Chegosaurus is coming in with a smoke of his own, as is Yomo and Ysera. So Brewmaster, he should still be safe. There's no points into silence of the Death Prophet. So I highly doubt they're gonna have enough lockdown to just prevent the Primal Split from coming out.
Yeah, and I think at the very least Doc is going to survive, but then again, being forced to use that split and knocking any kills off of it is subpar. And his little Brewlings don't do enough damage to really kill any of these targets outright, unless he has backup. So I think this rotation from Brewmaster hopefully can just blink out of there. But worst case scenario for Execration, I think it's just a defensive split. So no kills going the way of Insidious Idol at the very least. And unless something like amazing happens, smoke pops. Or maybe it just wears off. Doc's got bumped into Shagosaurus. His blink's cancelled, getting charged by the Spirit Breaker. Ice Path down. They do not have an ultimate from the Spirit Breaker, but Chained, he's going to be able to get off the ultimate at like 1 HP. What was that? He's like 30 HP. Even less than that, he healed up a little bit more. It was at double digits at the very least. He will be able to survive, and pretty much as expected, if they had Spirit Breaker ultimate, he would have been gone. Oh, inside the Radiant jungle, Epicenter being challenged, trying to kill off Alice. They don't have mana or another Burrow Strike available, and Alice is limping away. Trap going to slow down this Spider, but Spider is invis, does have the dust, but no damage applied. She's able to juke through the trees. She has another web. She's going to make it through, and they can't kill her, even though they're going to get close. Those trees are going to get broken as the damage is applied, but Alice survives.
That movement speed is just so ridiculous in the spin web. Can't catch her. Does pick up the first Oblivion staff though, so going for the Orchid after all. He's number 1 in net worth as well, and by a pretty decent margin, as we have another disconnect on the same player. Oh, please no.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. The Orchid's going to be really nice for shutting down the Brewmaster. They kind of need all of their spells at this moment to chainstem before he's able to get off his ulti. But once they do have that Orchid, killing off the Brewmaster before he gets the split off is going to be a whole heck of a lot easier for them. So we'll just have to see how that pans out for them. But either way, their Ember Spirit's also getting a decent amount. Third in the net worth, but yeah, really nobody's farming exceptionally this game. The CS is topped by the Broodmother, and even the Broodmother is only at 5 CS a minute.
Yeah, it's, to be honest, I have to say that in Insidious, I think it's looking still slightly better for them. Just because Ember Spirit has a reasonable amount of farm and death profit. Although she has 4 deaths, her net worth isn't like horrible. The same of a solo Tidehunter who was also up against it, just Broodmother got those early or additional last hits as well, somewhat. At least earlier on. From some point onwards, he's also been struggling. But I mean, for a 0-4-0 death profit, not doing too bad at all.
Yeah, definitely not. And really, the only reason why Broodmother's at as much net worth as she is because of the 4-0 KDA. So, yeah, we're kind of in for a little bit of a longer game. These Blink Daggers aren't coming out as fast as I thought they would for Execration, or at least on their other heroes. Tidehunter does have his Blink now, but Ravage is on cooldown for 27, so it's not an immediate queue for gank, and they won't have Split as well. We'll just have to see how it works out for them. It's definitely not over, but right now this is the time where they want to start completely dominating the map, and it looks like TA is going to go for a catch-up Midas.
I mean, the Midas, it's going to be pretty damn late, like 13 minutes in, maybe even 14. So, I'm not too sure. I guess it's maybe necessary, but do they really want to take this to the later stages of the game? I guess Broodmother's effectiveness maybe falls off. I haven't really seen her with the all new changes. But it's maybe not the best of idea to go for the Midas now.
Yeah, even so, like, Ember Spirit and Death Prophet aren't going to be falling off for quite a long time. And as far as supports are concerned, Spirit Breaker scales pretty well with items.
I guess maybe if like Brewmaster goes for a Midas now as well and also starts gearing up for a late game. Or I guess maybe Brewmaster has enough farm to just transition into those items. Might even go for a Vladimir's Offering though at the moment. Has the Ring of Pezzy after all. I mean, bonus armor not going to be bad for sure against Exorcism and just Ember Spirit as well. But if it's only Temper Assassin looking towards the late game and the rest of the team just being like mid-game oriented kind of, it's probably going to just backfire.
Yeah, and it kind of feels wrong. Like, Templar Assassin isn't the type of hero that you can be like, oh, we have farm on Templar Assassin, she can like 1v5 the enemy team. It's no Spectre or Medusa or something like that. Templar Assassin kind of needs her full 6-slotted build, and even then, I don't think it really compares to what Insidious Idol bring to the table. It's not a easy item decision to make for the TA. I think she's going to be forced to fight, even though she goes for this Midas. And if they win the fights, you're winning fights with Midas, and you're doing great. But if you lose the fights, then going for something like a Drums or a Yasha or just anything to give you that extra edge probably would have been a better choice. It's not an incredibly late Midas, but it is late enough to where we can question it.
And Alice, of course, he just keeps on pushing the bottom lane at the same time. Just so many Spider-Rings already spawned. Execration, finally Sand King is going to try to make his way there. He needs about another 700 gold to get the blink. Definitely going to be a pretty slow one, I mean, 15-16 minutes in. Usually you would want to have it like 11 minutes in. Best of the times, of course, would be like 8 minutes even maybe. There's the Burrow Strike though, no follow-up of course, just a Sandstorm, that's gonna be it.
Wait. Is this doable? Maybe it is. Spiderlings are attempting to farm Ancients. I think they'll only kill these small ones, but they're doing a lot better than I thought they would. That's a lot of Spiderlings. There is a Scarlet Mage Mystic Flare in mid, kills off the Death Prophet. charge returned onto Doc. I don't think that's going to net them any kills. He's spotted out by Ward and ends up canceling the charge anyway. Sorry for missing that kill. I was just amused that Broodmother was farming Ancients.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was like Sanking is gonna come in here anyway, so I'm gonna try to do something with my Spiderlings. Although it does get only one of the small ancient golems. Some of the Spiderlings just timed out. Although they want to go for the Sanking. The charge is coming into the creep. They knew it would stun Sanking as well. They will have the dust as well, and they're gonna go for the kill. Just get it pretty easily. Level 2 Insatiable Hunger. Just gets a lot of extra damage from it. Plus, of course, lifesteal as well.
In the meantime, Ravage in mid's going to kill off the Ember Spirit as they're able to lock him down enough and do plenty of damage. So maybe this Midas, after all, isn't going to be too bad for the TA. Now his finished power treads and 600 gold on top of it after that kill. Across the map, it's going to be favoring Execration.
And well, at the moment, Alice just tries to continue being annoying against the Tidehunter. The Tidehunter doesn't have too much mana to work with. They know there's no Ravage at the moment as well. And they're just going to take the mid tier 1 tower. Temper Assassin couldn't go in for the deny. Orchid delivered as well to Alice, and he's ready to just welcome anybody into his open arms who wants to come and counter push.
Yeah, of course. We'll have to see. This Broodmother now can very feasibly look for those solo kills with the bonus damage of Insatiable Hunger as well as that silence from the Orchid. Killing solo supports especially is going to be very easy, especially if that solo support happens to be named Skyrath Mage. They're going to need to bring a lot more than this if they want to kill off the Broodmother effectively. She's just going to be able to scuttle away inside her webs running at max movement speed.
Yeah, now there is the level 1 exorcism being used by Zed. Going for the Roshan, Spiderlings of course just slowing things down, tanking it up as well. And that is the one downside of Insidious, how they chose to run the lane. Death Prophet being in a tri lane, especially in a losing tri lane, they just didn't get a lot of XP on her. So he's gonna hit level 9 if they get the Roshan down, but the level 2 and level 3 exorcisms are probably gonna be pretty damn slow in coming out.
Yeah. Roshan isn't the fastest coming out from Insidious, especially now that Exorcism wears off, but they'll be able to do it without Execration knowing anything. Broodmother continues her work down in bottom lane. The rest of the team is pretty much fighting 4v5, and that's working out for now. This Ember Spirit does have drums on top of his phase boots, which is effectively the same farm that the Templar Assassin has, or at least in effectiveness immediately, but still is falling behind a little bit to that Midas of the TA, and it's starting to pay off. For whoever this player is, I honestly can't remember.
Oh, you mean the Temper Assassin, right?
Yes.
It should be Primo, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I wish they would change their names. This is supposed to be on the ticket, but if their names aren't changing, honestly, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, this particular game was not ticketed. I can just guarantee you that. I don't know why, but I guess they don't have like enough admins to create all the lobbies. I'm not too sure. But there's Tokix, he's getting charged, the Orchid will most likely come out as well, he's waiting for it. There's the Burrow Strike with the blink from the Sanking, can they have enough? Orchid is there, Mystic Flare gonna get dodged, Yomo goes in with the Nether Strike, they need a little bit more though. Doc survives, pops the Primal Split from a really long distance. Can he even just catch anybody even with the Storm Panda? Well, now with the Burrow Strike, I guess Yomo might be the sacrifice here. Or never mind, even he's gonna be able to just charge away. So everybody escapes.
Yeah, it's going to be a clean retreat coming up from Insidious Idol. Spiritbreaker dropping low and now in mid. They just need one auto attack. They silence up the Ember Spirit. Now look for a Burrow Strike up on that side. Fights Templar Assassin versus Spiritbreaker. Spiritbreaker hasn't died yet. Ember Spirit going to be able to jaunt to his thing, but the Brewmaster is going to burn in the fire and the flames as he dies to the Jakiro. It's going to be a 2-for-1 now. Ember Spirit wants back in. Going to get the chains off and Haunt decides to hold on to that Ravage at least for now. The stun's going to be purged off by the Kraken Shell, and they won't be able to go for any more, but still Insidious Idol coming out ahead, but silence on the Asera. No further damage. They bring in the Death Prophet as well, silencing up the TA. No, not able to get off Meld immediately, but probably doesn't matter. A very scrappy and awkward engagement. Both teams are pretty much just dancing with each other.
Yeah, Insidious Idol though still probably coming out slightly ahead. Alice on the bottom lane, maybe he wants to go for the Tidehunter. Not an easy kill, but the charge is coming. There's the Orchid as well. Searing Chains catches him in place. Nice double Burrow Strike though. He pops the Ravage. They're gonna kill off Alice. Oh, it was a mega kill streak as well. And Spiritbreaker gonna give up on the charge. So, or does he? Well, he's charging something still. But really nice fight. Just hanging on. And Tidehunter, too big of a bite for just Insidious Idol to go for.
Yeah, he's pretty darn tanky. Has the 4-staff blink. Very elusive as far as Tidehunters are concerned, and things are looking up for them. Even though the Broodmother has a lot of farm, that doesn't really mean much. It's a Broodmother. She has Orchid. She's going to have enough money to go for something else after this. Maybe she goes for something like the Necrobook that you were talking about earlier. But honestly, I think this Broodmother needs to go for a BKB if she wants to help her team in fight. A lot of their net worth isn't actually helping them in these engagements. Remnant into mid, Ember Spirit looking to fight Silence up the Haya. It is going to be a 4-staff looking for the Ravage. He isn't going to hold it yet. They do drop a Burrow Strike onto Ysera. Focus down this Ember Spirit is on the sidelines. They lose their Skyrath Mage. Jaunt up to his Orb up in the high ground. He is going to try to disjoint the stun from the Brewmaster. Not going to happen as the Broodmother is going to be able to kill off the Sand King with one spawn Spiderlings. The Brewmaster Brewlings are still going to work. Throw one more Boulder Toss into Z. They will not be able to do much more than that. Brewmaster holds on too long with his Earth Brewling. Now Bash down is not going to be ulted. They don't need anything more. He gets a clap onto 4. Doesn't matter. They lose his life anyway. Execration, they get nothing out of that.
Just excellent fight from Insidious Idol. And Execration, they went maybe a little bit in too deep. They might even lose 10% in their mind. Has an invis run, so it's going to be fine for now. But without the Ravage, their teamfight is that much weaker. And the Primal Split didn't accomplish all that much either. TPs are coming back, 10%. Can he blow somebody up? Goes into his syrup. Didn't go with the meld hit, at least not to start with. Mystic Flare gonna be dodged by the most part as well. Now, Tidehunter forced to force that to low ground. Nice Burrow Strike, but probably no follow-up at all. 10% wants to come in again. There's the meld hit onto his syrup, but the Ice Pack will catch TA. He's gonna Remnant out and just leave the others to take care of the Emperor Assassin. TP's back home, leaves a Remnant. Gonna regen up, gonna come back.
Alice? Inside the enemy base, going to be clapped down by the Brewmaster after a buyback from the TA. They want more. Ice Path is going to be held by the Jakiro. Doesn't end up throwing that out. They're going to Spirit Breaker charge onto the Tidehunter. Now they're going to be able to kill him off. Liquid Fire as well as one more bash. But Shagasaurus bit up more than can chew. Gets Burrow striked up and clapped and brought down. That kind of micro engagement on the backlines was pretty ridiculous. Broodmother really wanted some kills but couldn't find it. Ends up dying in the shadow of the tier 3 tower.
That is like classic Bambo style Broodmother play. Just, this is not your base, dude. Not your base. He is pretty stacked on gold though. So I guess it's not that horrible. Still number 1 in net worth. Although then again, him dying maybe is just that much worse because of it. Just because he was that farm. So shouldn't have died over there. Could have just been satisfied with a couple of kills, getting a tier 2 as well. Now the Execration, they are grouped up for their own tier 1 push. It's pretty low. They have the Primal Split. They have the Ravage as well if the Tidehunter rejoins them. He's going to TP to the tier 1 and just try to make it there as fast as he can. So I don't think Insidious are going to commit too much to defense, or are they? Never mind, tower just goes down.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Tier 1 tower in mid. At this point, it's pretty easy to take, but now they go into the Broodmother. Burrow struck up, clapped down by the Brewmaster. They are going to silence up Doc, but with the Mystic Flare on top, that's going to be the death of the Broodmother. Now, beautiful Ravage connecting onto 3. The follow-up isn't going to be immediately there for the Ember Spirit. He's able to get away safely, but now the Spirit Breaker Burrow struck up, and Death Prophet on the sidelines can't really do much. They have the Exorcism running, which is doing some decent damage to these Broodlings, but now melded down, slowed down. Ember Spirit is still here, looking for a Sleight of Fist chains onto 2. He finds it, but now Burrow struck up. His hero doesn't have any remnants out immediately except for the one over to the left. He's going to drop another one, but it doesn't get him over the hill. They will blink forward after him, but the Seraph proves to be too elusive, as it's just going to be 3 kills going the way of Execration. Still a win.
Yeah, so it's just back and forth with the fights really. Insidious Idol taking one, now Execration, they got one back. And it's probably favoring Execration quite a lot at this point. Just because, well, that means that Broodmother isn't farming, he's not pushing a lane at one time. He's going for the BKB by the looks of it though. But had he not just died twice in a row, he would have had it already. And that's just kind of the weakness of a Broodmother. In actual 5v5 fights, there's only so much he can do.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks to be a BKB build for this Broodmother. But even the BKB, it might keep the Broodmother alive from the combinations that have been killing Alice, but the actual uptime you get for your auto attacks is very limited. And honestly, the biggest help that Alice is going to be inside the teamfights is silencing up that Brewmaster with the Orchid. And you could literally do that on any other hero. Maybe Nature's Prophet would have been a better choice for Insidious Idol, based on the way that Alice has been playing.
Well, probably, or maybe, I don't know. Nature's Prophet, of course, is also an excellent hero to just join early fights, so him TPing into lanes might have also provided the same that the Broodmother did, just roamed around, got a few kills like that. Nature's Prophet definitely a little bit more stable and just has more to offer in the later stages, but he gets Burrow struck up, another Mystic Flare. Can he escape this? No, he cannot. So yet another death.
Yeah, and that's a combination that's been killing him every time. Blink Burrow Strike, Blink Clap, Mystic Flare, and Really, without a BKB, there's very few heroes in this game that can survive that. Maybe a Pudge that gets a lot of kills, but who knows? Inside the Radiant jungle, Blink forward coming out from high, doesn't have a Ravage, can't cancel that, and TP away from one, and Spirit Breaker charge away by the other. It's going to mean that both of the supports of Insidious Idol are going to be just fine.
So looking at the graphs now as well, it's still about the 3k network lead for Insidious Idols. XP though, less than just that. Not even in the lead for them at all, in all fairness. So about a 1200s lead for Execration there in XP. BKB down though on the Death Prophet as well. Can feel a little bit safer, but this is a Death Prophet without the new Scepter.
Yeah, which is very peculiar, but I think it's necessary this game. BKB is just such an important item up against Execration, and well, they're about to start getting quite a lot of physical damage as well. Their TA, the Midas is paying off for them actually. She's currently sitting on 3,600 gold, and I think it's a Black King bar for the TA this game as well, and that's going to be really important. She's able to do a lot of damage as long as she's not killed. Charge into the enemy team coming up from the Spirit Breaker onto the Tidehunter is going to be cancelled as they take the tier 1 tower quickly and now rotate into the tier 2.
Yeah, the Ever Spirit, it's already 25, almost 26 minutes in and still does not have the Battle Fury. He's getting close to it, needs about another 200 gold or so. But it's pretty damn slow to be honest, so that's also another point that Execration has going or working towards them. They get the tier 2, no contention at all. They didn't even attempt it, so that's gonna be BKB finished. Roshan does respawn as well. If Execration really wanted to, they could probably take the Roche fight and just, or rather go for the sneaky Roche. Especially now that there's a Desolator on TA, so I guess no BKB, Desolator instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's an item that also has its merits. Like, the minus armor is super significant, and although these heroes are working with a decent amount of armor themselves, that's completely ripped through. Everybody's going to be working with armor in the negatives. Once Meld comes out with that Desolator effect, I believe it's 8 from Meld and 6 from Deso?
It's 7
from
from Deso,
Deso.
Yeah. I think it used to be 6, but they increased it in some patch, I don't even remember which one. I'm almost positive it used to be 6 though.
Okay, so I'm not completely crazy, but it's still going to be a whole heap of minus armor.
Oh, it certainly is, and in this idol they pop the Exorcism to go for Roche, yet they're not committing to Roche. So that's kind of a huge waste of an Exorcism, you're not getting anything out of it.
Lucky enough for them, it's not spotted out by the Radiant team, so they still expect Exorcism to be up, or at least should expect Exorcism to be up, unless they walk just a little bit too far into their ward vision. With that ulti up, but it's going to be a clean tower going the way of Execration. With the Desolator dropped incredibly quick, and now they can look towards the tier 2 tower. They have all of their teamfight ultimates, and now Insidious Idol, I don't think they can fight. They have the BKB on DP, but without the Exorcism, there's just nothing they can do. Tier 2 tower, top is going to be forfeit. DD on the Templar Assassin had insult to injury. She's dishing, and yeah, they just can't contest that. They're going to go into the Roche this time with a little bit more than just the Death Prophet, but the Clap's going to almost instantly kill all of these Broodlings. They're going to do a lot of damage to Roche, but right now, Execration should know something's up.
Don't think they're gonna make it there in time though, just because they didn't start reacting fast enough. So they will get the Roshan, they will get the Aegis. Oh, so maybe Sarah, maybe Alice even on the Broodmother. Looks like Ember Spirit will be the one carrying it. So getting some farm there, but it took them quite a lot. I mean, they lost 2 towers for this Roshan.
Yeah, they really did. And honestly, I don't think that's worth it. Especially since I don't think they'll be able to push or get any other objectives off of this Aegis. It's more or less just going to secure Sarah's some more farm, which is nice. But all of the tier 2 towers on the enemy side of the map have been taken. And Insidious Idol, they're not really fit to push high ground, especially up against a Ravage and Epicenter.
They really aren't, so we'll see what they can just try to do to remedy that. Maybe are going for just Necrobook after all on Broodmother, although if he goes for a Necrobook now, it's gonna be rather late. Would it still be worth it, or what items can a Broodmother even go for to just be effective?
I don't know. I honestly am drawing a blank. Alice, it's a hero that is built to push out those lanes and not really fight, but this game, the Broodmother has already done the Broodmother job, and that's take tier 1 and tier 2 in the lane that you start out in, and maybe you go for a blink to ensure you get the Orchid off onto the Brewmaster, but I'm pretty clueless. Like, I'm not sure there's really any one item that's really going to ensure Alice a teamfight edge.
Man, Broodmother, that's just exactly why you don't kind of pick her. They did snowball kind of at the start, but Then things got slowed down by them. Some mistakes were made. Now, Execration, they have been grouped up for quite a long time. There's only one outer tower to go for, but them being grouped up means that only like one hero can get proper farm at the same time. Now though, Ahaya, Yui probably, on the Tidehunter does go to the bottom lane, and oh god, no, Barrow Strike up. Sand King farming up the enemy jungle. They did ping him out, but he gets the blink out, so he's safe as well. But yeah, the Tide, going for the refresher, slightly more than halfway done gold-wise.
Yeah, and that's a very scary item for Execration to be working towards. No Oblivion Staff or anything like that. He is about halfway, as you said, so it's going to be a long time before Execration have that available, but honestly, they have time to wait. They don't want to be pushing up against an Aegis, even though Insidious Idol won't be able to push high ground off of this. I think it's a similar story for them. If Ember Spirit comes back and they are not in a great position for like Ravage and Epicenter, they don't really want to put themselves at that risk. TA is going to find herself a Haste Rune, and Templar Assassin's getting pretty darn fat. This Midas choice, although we questioned it early on, is really paying dividends for the TA.
Yeah, by the time we got it, it's just in Insidious they had so much momentum going their way that it could have been easily punished, but Insidious they just couldn't kind of get the control together for the mid game parts. So now, like I said, it has paid off, just heavily so. Alistar wants to come in for something. He has the BKB ready. They want to fight. They are smoked up. They see the TA as well. Oh god, are they gonna go straight away? If they get the silence, they need some slows. There's the Sleight of Fist steering change. Silence to follow as well. He got the refraction off, but it won't matter at all. There's the exorcism as well. They get the one kill. No buyback on TA. 76 seconds on the sidelines. If only they could catch anybody else as well.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll be able to do so. And with Exorcism down, pushing high ground's just not really in the cards for Insidious Idol. It's a good pick-off to be sure, but I don't think it's enough to really, I don't know, make up for the fact that they won't be able to do anything with this Aegis. It's a necessary move, and I think that's fine. It's a really late Yules. Coming up from this Death Prophet, it's a great item to have on the hero, but maybe you just build for something a little bigger and smashier at this point in the game. I think a Shiva's would have been quite a bit better.
Maybe, it's definitely a good item, so I don't know. And of course the BKB that he went for hasn't been able to use it a single time, or hasn't had the need to use it, I guess. So maybe just having gone for Yules first would have been even better, but you have to kind of be prepared for the Tidehunter Ravage, the Burrow Strikes, the Silence, Mystic Flares, whatnot. As Haya blinks to the high ground just to get some vision, has the 4-step to escape if it's really necessary, if not, just gonna wait for the Blink Dagger to cool off. And now the Ysera has the Aegis, even if he gets caught, probably gonna get the Remnant out after the death. Unless they really just perfectly chain the stuns after the Aegis.
This Aegis is going to expire anyway in about 40 seconds, so I'm not sure if Execration have the timer down for this. But if they do, I don't think it's worthwhile going for this kill, at least until that Aegis expires, now at about 30 seconds.
Oh, Execration, if they manage to just hit straight after it expires, it's gonna be a huge blow for the Ember Spirit. Since he's not all that farmed, it's not like he has horrible farm either. Has more than the Tidehunter, and the graphs, it's still a lead for Insidious Idol, about 2.5k net worth. XP actually back in their favor as well by about 1500 or so. So they do have the lead, but Ember Spirit, one Battle Fury just isn't scary quite yet. He needs like another Battle Fury, maybe a Daedal or something like that, and then he starts actually being an issue.
Yeah, even though it seems like just a couple minutes ago, Templar Assassin picked up the Desolator, because it was just a couple minutes ago and she picked up the Deso, she now has a completed BKB, and Templar Assassin's a force to be reckoned with in these fights. What happened down in bottom probably isn't going to happen again.
It shouldn't, at least, so we'll see if Execration want to just put those new items to the test as well. Maybe they really want to wait for the Refresher Orb of the Tide, although that's still about 1.4k away, so it would be quite a long time waiting. Instead, they're just going for the last tier 2 in the mid lane. Ice Wave does slow things down a little bit. Insidious Idol, the charge is coming in. Will there be a BKB in time? Nether Strike comes out as well. There's the Macropyre. The Assassin doesn't take too much damage. In the meantime, Dokix, he popped his own BKB. There's the Blink. Thunderclap. But BKB from Death Prophet as well. Everyone's kind of backing off. Oh god, the melt hit. Did a lot of damage, but everybody's BKBs that did more or less nothing.
Charge in from Spirit Breaker, going for Doc. Blinkawade's going to keep Brewmaster alive for now, but he's not going to stop this charge. Looking for the bash, isn't going to find it. Actually missing Ice Path to cancel out Brewmaster ultimate animation. He'll still be able to get it off, and now the turn comes onto the Spirit Breaker. No BKB available anymore. He already used it. The damage is pretty immense, and Ice Path is going to land on the fire and win Pandas. So they won't be able to go for any more. Now he's charging, looking for the TP out. Will they have anything canceled? They Ravage! They miss! Spirit Breaker's home free. That reaction time was just a little too late by the Tidehunter. I think they needed to throw him up in the air.
That was really weird. I mean, it was optimistic and it failed, it flopped, I don't know. That's just a huge teamfight cooldown suddenly you won't have for the teamfights. So now it doesn't matter that in CSL they don't have Exorcism just because Execration, they don't have their own Ravage either.
Yeah, and honestly, even if it lands, I think Spirit Breaker is fine. Even if he dies, they will look for the jump on the sidelines. BKB popped out by Alice as they charge forward. It's going to go through the Tidehunter now into Fox. Focusing on the Scarlet Mage is very easy. They'll be able to kill him off. Ember Spirit's going to get a couple of cleaves out. The ultimate on the Templar Assassin, even through BKB, doing quite a bit of work. They'll kill off the Broodmother with Burrow Strike and the damage there, but the cleave is getting a lot of backup from the Ember Spirit. He'll be able to get out. It's a 2-for-2 trade now. He gets chains off on 2. Can he still survive? The Battle Fury cleave going to drop both the Sand King and the Tidehunter low. The Anchor Smash lands on Diasera. The Crypt Storm flies through, but doesn't do very much. He's able to jump to the sideline, still surviving. Chains again onto Doc. Doc dropping low. Silent Step can't get anything off. Is going to burn down, looking for anything further onto the Sand King. Will jaunt up to his orb, or Remnant up the high ground. TP attempt from the Sand King will succeed as he gets out there cleanly. 2-for-3 trade in the favor of Insidious Idol. Actually, 3-for-3 plus the buyback on the Jakiro.
So more or less, kind of an even thing in both XP as well as net worth. So well done by Insidious Idol, to be honest. In this era, I was so sure it's gonna be dead just with the second Burrow Strike coming out from the Sand King, but he Sleight of Fist at the same time that the Burrow Strike was used, so no stun, no nothing. That also gave extra time for Ember Spirit to just bottle up. So in the end, kind of a wash. Nothing really happening, but if you look at the net worth, just the 3 core heroes of Insidious Idol, they are a little bit closer to each other. They are the positions of 2 to 4 on the net worth chart. The Templar Assassin is still number 1, but feels like he just hasn't been able to output too much damage, or just hasn't been able to actually right-click in the fights.
Yeah, he really hasn't. The Templar Assassin controlled so well. They drop the Spirit Breaker ultimate on top of him, even when he's in the BKB, which is fine. The damage doesn't go through, but the stun sure as hell does. And Templar Assassin just couldn't get anything out. Now with the refresher on Tide, Execration have a bigger chance of winning these team fights, but I don't know. We'll have to see if they're able to pull everything together. Up until now, we haven't really seen the whole team fight combination.
Yeah, we really haven't, and well, at least for Execration, if they see the Ember Spirit, they're like, yes, success. At least it doesn't have any more damage, because he went for a BKB now. Kind of a necessity, I guess, because Execration, they have so much just kind of lockdown magical damage as well, especially now that the double Ravage is going to come out. You definitely want to have BKB for that. But his damage output will be delayed thanks to that. Spirit Breaker, though, what the hell does he even have as items? Just power test his own BKB as well. Down to 8 seconds already, man. Spirit Breaker, as his support, it's not bad, to be honest. You're pretty beefy in the front lines. Alice working towards the Butterfly as well on the Broodmother.
Yeah, I think personally, just getting some auras for the team might have been a little bit better for them, but the Spirit Breaker isn't getting very much out of the game at all. 2-7 and 9. Yuma's impact hasn't really been felt very much at all. Especially in the early portions, which is really where you want that Spirit Breaker to be looking for those ganks. His ultimate in the last fight was really clutch, but that's pretty much all that he can do.
At the moment though, Execration, they're going for a Radiant. The Spiders are coming in, but it's too late. Ysera comes in as well, tries to snatch it with his BKB. Ice Path is down, Dog Kicks. He's still alive, but there's Ravage number 1. There's Ravage number 2 as well. Will connect at least on 2 heroes. There's the Burrow Strike Epicenter. Those 2 are dead. Make it free. Shagasaurus buys some time with the Yule Scepter, but dies straight after. Tidehunter gets the double kill. That is the fight they were looking for. They almost even claimed the life of the Ember Spirit as well, but the BKB kind of saved him. So finally they take a fight. Of course, costed them a double Ravage, but they also got Aegis for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's there for. You want to use those Ravages to secure teamfight victories. If they win or kill the Ember Spirit, that's huge for them. Without the Ember Spirit kill, I don't think it's going to secure much more than the tier 2 tower in mid, but it's still looking great for them. Like, that Ravage connected on pretty much as many heroes as you can count on it hitting.
It was really an excellent Ravage. By the second Ravage, some people managed to just get out of range, or they were dead already more or less, so really nicely done. The first Ravage will cool off in 100 seconds. 30 seconds after that, gonna have that secondary Ravage with the refresher as well. So it's huge. Plus, of course, they have the ages to work with now. And with the Desolator, they can make quick work of even the buildings.
Yeah, Alice currently in a really awkward situation. Broodmother, stuck inside the trees, does have another web cooling down in 3 seconds, and will be able to get out of this, but is going to be forced to use the web in that manner. Alice is going to be going for a butterfly as the next item for this brood, which is kind of nice to keep the Broodmother inside the fight, and does a lot of damage, but I don't know, Brood, it's kind of been underwhelming, and the hero all around, I think, is pretty much just constantly going to be in that case. Yule Scepter on the TA, setting up for an Ice Path. Nice Burrow Strike will delay things, but they are able to charge into him. They get the bash onto him, and we're gonna have a pause. Okay.
Hang! God damn! Of course, a really bad time for a pause, but the Ice Path did buy quite a lot of time there. So it got to the Macro Pyre as well. You can see that Chemo on the Sand King already extremely low. Primo has the ages, of course, but BKB is activated. Kinda need to turn it around. Melt Hit was already used on somebody since it's on cooldown. But okay, go has been given, so take it away.
Okay, so down to the ground with the Death Prophet. They are going to pursue, killing off the Sand King immediately. Ultimate on the Fox coming up from the Spirit Breaker. Ghost Scepter saves his life for a little bit longer. Templar Assassin very low. Liquid Fire, it might be enough. It's going to get close, but not enough to kill her off. They are going to pursue Spirit Breaker inside the Mystic Flare. It's not enough damage, but they will be able to follow him down with one more auto attack. Yule Scepter onto the Brewmaster is silenced up, but nothing more is going to come out of that after one support on either side loses their life. TA was so close to falling, as was the Ember.
Yeah, and well, the Ember, of course, he came in, he got like melt hitted one right click after that or something, and suddenly he had to remnant out. That's just the power of the physical damage burst of a Templar Assassin, and Ember, he hangs again. Oh god. Insidious is a team that I haven't seen use that word too much. Before those, or before the rather, like betting against your own team scandal thing, there was MSI Evolution Gaming Team. They were a team that just had it most often. Every single game, it's like pause, hang, and unpause like maximum 5 seconds later. Because, I mean, how long can a PC be frozen for? But that word is just hang. I know so many casters who are like, what the hell does that even mean?
I don't know, I'm learning to hate that word through just like, I don't know, the last couple of C tournaments I've been through. It's not a pretty picture. There's a lot of technical issues. And this one's on LAN. Like, you wouldn't expect, like, so many PCs to be messed up.
You really wouldn't. Of course, then again, I think they're probably using, like, the PCs that are maybe in use every single day for, like, the customers of the internet cafes. So, maybe they're a little bit worse off because of that. But, for example, if you look at, like, Dream League or whatever, just huge tournaments like that, and they have, like, oh, those flashy new Asus ROG, like, PCs, and they have troubles, and I'm like, that's not a great promotion for Asus, who is like the main sponsor or something. It's like, your fresh PCs kind of fail and are too slow or whatever is the problem with them.
Yeah, okay, so we're catching up to delay here on the stream. They're on the first pause, though, so I don't know. That's unpausing, so I suppose we can look at that, but yeah, that earlier one was, it felt pretty strategical to me. I'm not sure.
I really don't know either, so it's fun times everywhere, all around. Looking at the next items coming out though, Brewmaster will have that AC soon-ish. He will need the Hyperstone plus that Chainmail as well, so he needs about another 1000 gold, give or take 100 or so. So once he gets the AC, they're gonna have a lot more just minus armor coming out, even more. Plus of course the bonus armor for yourself, mitigating the damage of the Death Prophet's Exorcism, for example. I don't think anything else huge is coming out for themselves at this point in time. For Insidious though, it's just a crap ton of BKBs and not much else.
More or less, and that's pretty much what they have to go for, but it's not a situation that you want to be in, right? Like, although it's kind of a necessary evil to keep yourself alive inside the team fights, they're lacking quite a bit of damage. Even though they have, like, Exorcism and a Battle Fury Ember Spirit on their side, it's 40 minutes into the game, and this stuff is starting to be less reliable, especially the Exorcism from the Death Prophet. There have been fights where it's down, or where it just isn't doing anything.
It definitely has. I mean, sometimes you see teams like using every single Exorcism, just really using it on cooldown, going for objectives, Roshan, taking fights. Just hasn't been like that in this game, but we do unpause. For now, at least. Not gonna get my hopes up too much just because, well, the less you hope for, the less you'll be disappointed.
That's probably the better way to go about doing things. Neither team has any outer tier towers left, and both teams have pretty similar ward coverage. The Radiant has slightly better wards, but it's pretty irrelevant on either side. It's just either side not really looking for any engagements as of now. Still waiting on the Ravage cooldown, or at least a refresher cooldown for the Tidehunter, and well, now that we have Exorcism back up, as well as that Tidehunter double Ravage, maybe we're going to look for a fight fairly soon. But I don't think Insidious Idol are going to be the ones to make that move.
Probably not, I would think so. But maybe not, we'll see. Maybe they're just going for something completely crazy. But Execration, they do have the double Ravage ready, so I guess taking fights for them might not be as hard. Top lane though, Dokix, he got silenced up, rushed down as well by the Charge of Darkness. But they just don't have enough at this point. Brewmaster, he's pretty damn tanky. He's sitting at 24 armor. Has the cheese as well if really necessary, plus a BKB. Orchid, as good as it may be against the Brewmaster, but that's only good if you can actually have enough damage to bring him down. And without Monkey King bars, they just don't have it.
Yeah, and he also has the BKB to get out of the Orchid and get into the split reliably. Insidious Idol, they just don't have enough control to keep him in place, and Execration, they're looking for a push. Still about a minute and a half left on this Aegis, a little bit less than that in fact, but they're going to go in, charge onto the Templar Assassin. Looks like she might be losing her life. She's going to use BKB for the first one inside the Macropyre. Isn't going to be taking any damage for that immediately, but the right clicks are pretty significant on the TA. Pops her fraction, now going to turn to Alice. Alice not taking much damage after that, but is going to get that Aegis off of the Templar Assassin, but the Mystic Flare into Alice. This time, no BKB available for Broodmother Shu. She is going to fall, and now it's time for Execration to potentially look for another fight. They still have both of their Ravages, so Insidious Idol do need to be very careful.
They most certainly do. So, with the Exorcism being on cooldown, Broodmother, he has buyback, so thank God for that, I guess, for Insidious Idol. But without the Exorcism, do they even have enough damage? The Broodmother did quite a lot, yes. But can you count on just that only?
I don't think so. Right now, let's see if they're equipped to take this fight, even without a double life on their TA. We haven't seen Tidehunter with his teamfight ultimate already spent, and this tier 3 tower is going to be dropped. They are going to jump into the Ravage onto 3. Secondary Ravage going to land onto everybody, except for the one that's dead. Buybacks galore. Ember Spirit, Broodmother, and Shakira all want to get back into this fight. The Ember Spirit creep is pretty immense. It's going to force them back. Burrow Strike, however, from the Sand King is going to be pretty damn good. Eul Scepter on the Tidehunter, trying to pick him off on the sidelines. Eul Scepter on the Sand King, also looking for that pickoff. They'll charge up the Tidehunter. He's going to purge off the stun. Juking through the woods. He's going to be forced staff. The ultimate on the TA. They might be able to find more. BKB forced out by the TA. The damage, the right clicks, are they there? Do they have detection at all? Ice Path doesn't land. She's BKB'd, but she is going to burn down eventually. The dual breath's going to kill her off. My goodness, that could have been a close call. Insidious Idol, they buy back on a bunch of heroes, and they kill off 3. Is that even worth it? Let's see if they're able to push high ground in turn.
Everybody has buyback on Execration except for the Sand King, but of course there won't be a double Ravage. And without the Ravages, really just, for example, Temper Assassin, he dies pretty fast, or at least has done so. The bashes of the Spirit Breaker are pretty annoying against him, especially if he uses the Nether Strike as well. So they're dealing with the Temper Assassin fairly well, and that's what you were saying as well. Oh, never mind, Blink, Thunderclap in, Dogkicks, goes in solo, has the Primal Split ready still. They're gonna get C, maybe. Oh yes, with the Meld hit. Easy kill. They did have to use 2 buybacks, but Death Prophet down in return. And probably they're just gonna go the other way once again. This is just go down mid lane one way and the other.
Yeah, it seems that that's the only lane that matters for both these teams. The Meld Striker 2 going to be enough to clear up the creep wave in the middle lane. Again, they're going to have no Ravages for this fight, but they will have a split and they will have BKB cooldowns. They're going to drop a trap up the high ground, but don't find anything off of this. Death Prophet does have a buyback, so maybe we're just going to see DP buyback and then Execration bail.
It might be so, but he does buyback, has Exorcism as well, so yeah. They are bailing off, like you said. I guess it's the smarter choice as well. In the meantime, Alice trying to split push things out, although he's gonna get caught. There's the Burst Strike first, Blink, Thunderclap to follow as well. Do they even have enough? Never mind, they don't even bring a gem or anything. So they just, I don't know, want to make their presence known.
Their presence has been felt by the Broodmother, confirmed. She's going to be able to walk over on the sidelines. Brewmaster can't do anything. Right now, there is literally no true sight on either team. There was a gem at one point. Where did it actually end up?
Oh.
Oh, there's 2 on the Dire Courier.
Okay, then, well, double. Oh, wow, no, Alice, he tried to go in, but the BKB is not going to be enough against the physical damage. There's the exorcism, though. Is that going to be enough? Tidehunter forced to 4-step away. Yomo gonna nether strike up 10%. He gets his BKB off, and there's the melt hit. Gets the Psy Blades as well onto 2. Nice Burrow Strike, Epicenter Shagasaurus. Gonna take the fall for the Mystic Flare. And now Z, he is alone. Gonna use his own BKB. Might be able to escape with that. Blink, melt hit though. Temper wants to keep on going. Has to be a little bit careful of just getting focused fire down by the exorcism. Now, additional slows come out from the Drunken Haze. If they just get the Thunderclap to follow, another Psionic Trap. Oh god, if he dies here, it's gonna be disastrous. There's the melt hit, they need the slows, Psionic Trap again. Yule Scepter dodges the Thunderclap, but I think he's screwed. Silenced up, there's no escape.
It's going to be 4 clean kills going the way of Execration, only losing the Tidehunter. And out of those 4 kills, only one of them has a buyback, and that hero is arguably the least important in the Spirit Breaker. They're going to be able to take at least one set of barracks off of this, or at least that's what I feel. Ember Spirit can't do much to defend. He's already forced to deal with quite a large creep wave at top, and they're going to lose melee barracks and potentially even more.
This is just so crippling for them at the moment. I mean, really Spirit Breaker could buy back, but it's going to respawn anyway. But Ysera and Yomo, man, they are the last line of defense for this set of racks. They might not be able to go for the third one, although if they really wanted to force it, they could even try that. Tidehunter, unfortunately, cannot buy Boots of Trials once he respawns. With those, maybe just going for the third set of racks immediately would have been an actual reality for them. But 2 racks is definitely good enough for them already.
Yeah, I mean, scratch whatever analysis I talked about in the draft about Insidious Idol having better late game. That's based on the premise that they all have equal farm to the Templar Assassin, which right now is just not in the cards. That's a completed dataless for TA flying out to the Courier. Brewmaster is also carrying his weight with the AC and Vladimir's Aura, as well as 3,000 gold on top of that. Insidious Idol just aren't getting the items that they need, and now 2 lanes down. It feels like it's all but over. I think it's time for some desperation smokes.
Yeah, just 2 racks is a little bit too much for most teams to handle. I mean, they have an Ember Spirit, but that's an Ember Spirit with only 1 Crystallis. And, well, speaking of desperation moves, they try to go for Roshan. If they get it, it's gonna be all well and good with the cheese and the Aegis, but if they fail now, Epicenter gonna be channeled just purely onto the Shagasaurus. There's Ravish number 1, Ravish number 2 as well. They're gonna get Yomo, Alice is gonna be next, no escape for him. And that's just heroes down without buybacks. Shagasaurus still messing around with the Sanking. Burrow Strike still on cooldown. Yule Scepter up though, so they're even gonna get the Jakiro with the Burrow Strike Mystic Flare. They get Roshan, Aegis, cheese. This is definitely game.
Yeah, even though they're not calling it, there you go. It is going to be GG called up by Insidious L. They can do nothing. And it was a well-played game by both sides, but in the end, it's just Execration to take one too many good fights.
And really well done. So Execration grabbing themselves another victory. And this is hopefully, or was the last game of not group 3, but round 3. Next game, I guess we're gonna continue with Execration. It should be Execration versus Aces coming out. Hopefully in not too long of a time, because if they want to just remotely stay in schedule, they're gonna have to play it pretty much immediately.
Schedule be damned. Like, there's no way.
Okay, well, they still have to play it as soon as they can if they want to end this just group stage before like midnight even for themselves. Although I don't know if they even can do so, but we'll see. We'll see, guys, with the next game. Thank you so much for tuning in so far. Hope you have enjoyed the entire tournament. All the delays apart, of course. Have been some great games nonetheless. So, guys, we're going to be back with Execration versus Nvidia Aces hopefully soon enough. So, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And if you're craving for some more Dota, you can always watch twitch.tv HeflaTV1, where MVP Hot 6 is playing ideal at the moment. But for us, we are just heading towards the next game.